Ford just shut down its entire production overnight. No warning, no explanation. Millions of dollars lost per hour. And the world is watching. What forced America's second-largest automaker to hit the emergency stop button? And why did the $47 billion Ford empire, an industrial giant that has dominated American roads for decades, suddenly freeze in its tracks? This is Next Gen Wheels, bringing you the truth automakers won't tell you. And today we're diving deep into the story of a shutdown that shocked the industry, stunned workers, and sent ripples through the global automotive supply chain. It started like any other day at Ford's sprawling assembly plants. Assembly lines hummed, robots welded and painted with precision, and workers moved with practiced rhythm. The smell of molten metal mixed with oil and machine grease. Trucks rolled off the line, each one a testament to decades of engineering, innovation, and efficiency. But then, without warning, everything stopped. Lights went off. Conveyor belts froze mid-motion. Tools were left where they lay. Gates locked. Production lines that never slept were suddenly silent. And in offices across Dearborn, Michigan and beyond, managers stared at screens blinking red. Emergency shutdown initiated. The reason? At first, it was a mystery. Rumors swirled, mechanical failure, sabotage, labor strikes. But soon internal memos leaked. The cause was more insidious than anyone imagined. A fire at a single aluminum supplier, Novelis, had brought Ford's entire F-150 production to a grinding halt. To the untrained eye, a fire at one plant might seem small, but in the world of modern automotive manufacturing, dependencies are everything. Ford had bet big on aluminum, light, durable, and marketing gold for a truck that promised efficiency and performance. Every F-150 relied on panels from Novelis. Every body, every door, every hood. One fire, one blast of heat, one halted supplier, and suddenly, millions of dollars were evaporating every hour. $25 million an hour by Ford's estimates. That's over $500 million lost in just 3 weeks. The aluminum gamble. Ford's decision to go aluminum heavy was bold. Traditionally, trucks had been steel-heavy beasts, built to withstand decades of wear, abuse, and extreme conditions. Aluminum, however, offered lighter weight, better fuel efficiency, and a marketing edge. Dealers could sell the F-150 not just as a workhorse but as a smarter, greener choice. But with innovation came risk. Aluminum production is highly specialized. Stress fractures invisible to the naked eye can form during rolling or welding. Every panel needed precision. Every shipment mattered. And Ford's system relied on one supplier. Novelis wasn't just a partner. It was the lifeblood of the F-150. For years, this gamble paid off. Production ran smoothly. Sales soared. Ford became synonymous with innovation in the full-size truck market. But the fire exposed the vulnerability at the heart of the empire. The fire that stopped America. It started in the early hours when most people were asleep. A spark in a furnace ignited a blaze that spread faster than anyone could contain. Smoke choked the plant. Emergency sprinklers activated, halting operations. Valuable aluminum inventory was lost. Damage was extensive and repairs would take weeks. Meanwhile, at Ford's plants, alarms were silent but consequences were deafening. Workers who had started shifts were sent home. Lines froze. Robots and automated machinery sat idle, programmed to wait, unable to bypass the missing aluminum. A welder in Dearborn sent a text to his wife. "Lines are down. Not sure when we'll get paid this week." Across towns in Michigan, Kentucky, and Ohio, similar messages poured in. The human impact was immediate and tangible. These weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They were livelihoods disrupted, families stressed, communities affected. Economic shockwaves. The financial fallout was staggering. $25 million per hour, $1 billion lost in a week, tens of thousands of trucks delayed. Dealerships faced empty lots, marketing promises that couldn't be fulfilled, and angry customers demanding answers. Restaurants and local businesses that depended on the plant workers saw sales dip. Ford isn't just a company, it's an ecosystem. Suppliers, transporters, dealerships, service providers. Each node in this network felt the tremor. And investors? Panic. Stock prices dipped as analysts recalculated forecasts. Questions arose. Could Ford recover? Was this an isolated incident or a warning sign for the entire industry? Boardroom drama. Inside Ford headquarters, the scene was tense. CEO Jim Farley, COO Kumar Galhotra, and the senior leadership team faced impossible choices. Every minute the lines were idle, losses mounted. Every decision carried risk. Rush repairs and compromise safety, or delay and risk financial collapse. Meetings ran around the clock. Engineers analyzed damaged aluminum, supply chain managers scrambled for alternatives, and executives calculated the impact on quarterly earnings. The pressure was immense. For a company that prides itself on precision, efficiency, and reliability, admitting vulnerability was almost unthinkable. The hidden risks of modern manufacturing. This event exposed something deeper: the fragility of just-in-time manufacturing. In pursuit of efficiency, redundancy is often sacrificed. Single suppliers, single plants, single points of failure. These are acceptable risks until disaster strikes. Ford's reliance on Novelis was not a secret to engineers, but it was invisible to the public. And until that fire, it hadn't caused a problem. The lesson: even industrial giants are only as strong as their weakest link. Human stories amid crisis. Amid the statistics and boardroom calculations, the human stories stand out. A line worker in Kentucky skipped meals to help unload emergency shipments, worried about colleagues' livelihoods. A supplier manager spent nights coordinating transport, fearing layoffs if trucks didn't reach assembly lines. Dealerships scrambled, promising customers updates they couldn't yet provide, facing frustration and angry phone calls. These micro-narratives paint a stark contrast to the corporate and technical layers, reminding us that behind every $25 million loss per hour, there are real people whose lives are impacted. Market reaction and competitors. Ford's competitors watched closely. General Motors, Stellantis, and Toyota sensed opportunity. Dealers reallocated inventory. Marketing campaigns subtly highlighted reliability while Ford worked feverishly to stabilize production. Analysts predicted that delays could cost market share if prolonged. A few weeks of halted production could ripple into months of lost revenue, delayed launches, and reputational damage. The F-150, America's best-selling truck, was suddenly at risk. Lessons learned. Once the smoke cleared, internal investigations began. The fire was contained, repairs initiated, and alternative aluminum sources identified. Ford implemented new safeguards, redundancies, and supply chain audits. But the story serves as a cautionary tale. Industrial giants, even those worth tens of billions, are vulnerable. Efficiency is a double-edged sword. Innovation is powerful, but risk is real. And behind every corporate strategy, human lives, local economies, and entire industries hang in the balance. Looking forward, Ford survived the fire. Production resumed. Trucks rolled off the line once more. But the question remains: how prepared is the automotive industry for the next disruption? How many other single points of failure exist in factories around the world, silently waiting to halt production? For the consumer, this is personal. Every vehicle on the road relies on invisible networks of suppliers, materials, and logistics. What hidden vulnerabilities exist in your car, your truck, your SUV? And who bears the cost when something goes wrong? Conclusion. The $47 billion Ford empire didn't crumble, but it came dangerously close. One fire, one supplier, one decision. It was enough to freeze production, stress workers, and shake investor confidence. This isn't just a story about aluminum, fires, or trucks. It's about the delicate balance between efficiency and risk, between innovation and vulnerability, and between corporate decisions and human impact. And as automakers continue to push the boundaries of design, performance, and technology, one question remains: can we ever truly make these machines, and the empires behind them, foolproof? Ford learned the hard way, and the rest of the industry is watching. This is Next Gen Wheels, bringing you the truth automakers won't tell you.